Hi, welcome to Mindful Conversations. My name is Greg Dwyer. My guest today is my good friend David Lawrence. We talked in the last episode about magic. I love magic, but today we're going to talk about the business of show business. David, thanks for sticking around.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
So how did you get involved in show business, and how did you make it a living?
Okay, well, I'd done shows in college.
Mm-hmm.
I had some, I put an ad in a local, one of these shopper guides.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And at the time, I don't even know how I got shows, because at the time, my parents had moved away. They I went to college and they moved away without telling me.
They went to Vegas, right?
They went to Vegas. Yeah.
Ah.
No, I knew where they went, but
Okay.
but I was living with my aunt.
Okay.
And that was the number that I gave. So every once in a while, my aunt would say, "Oh yeah, you got a call." Yeah.
Wow.
And so I'm not even sure how I used to get shows that way, but I got some shows through college.
Right.
It was, oh my goodness, I remember one time I actually was at a concert, and at that time I was really into magic, and I always had a deck of cards with me.
Right.
Wherever I went.
Gotcha.
And I was sitting in Madison Square Garden. I think I was 15 or 16 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think might have been Bob Dylan. I don't remember who. And I'm playing with my cards, and the guy next to me said, "Oh, you look good. I run a class about gambling. Can you come down and do a show for us?" And
Wow.
So that's what show one show I got. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I went to a class and showed them, whatever little gambling moves that I did know. But then when I got out of college and I started working, I put an ad in a local, newspaper. I don't think I put ads in the Yellow Pages until a couple of years later.
Okay.
And I did shows on the weekends, things like that.
Right. So you were part-time.
Definitely part-time, and not particularly good.
Really?
Well, I mean, I was okay, but I was very mediocre. I had good shows, I had bad
Okay.
shows.
Gotcha.
A funny experience when I was back then is and I would have good shows and some shows that didn't go as well. I had this one show that went phenomenally, just really, really good. I had the kids with me, this and that. The mother comes up to me afterwards, and the first words out of her mouth were, "You promised me 45 minutes. That was only 43 minutes. You owe me 2 minutes."
Wow. Did you sign a contract? That's
No,
amazing.
it was
That's
just
amazing.
such a bizarre thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was, there were all types of people.
And things have changed. Yellow Pages, phone
Right,
books.
yeah, now that's the
Now
thing.
it's Google reviews. You have to
Oh,
worry
yeah,
about
that's the
managing.
thing. I guess I went to a conference. At that time, it was called the International Festival of Children's Magicians,
Mm-hmm.
and this was probably like 25 years ago. I think that was the first one.
Okay.
And that really changed my magic life, because
Why?
it was a lot of professional magicians. Now, I'd gone to a lot of magic conferences.
Mm-hmm.
For good and bad, a lot of the people at these conferences are amateurs. They're hobbyists.
Right.
Amateur is a derogatory word. They're
Well,
hobbyists.
it means love, right?
It means love.
The love of, right?
Although you don't really want to use an amateur plumber.
No, that's true.
Or
an amateur electrician.
Right, an amateur electrician.
And your lights flash.
Yeah,
you
right.
find the
Yeah,
guy
you
on the
don't want
floor.
to, or worse, an amateur doctor.
No.
Yeah, I mean, so.
I love this, but I only do it once.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's funny.
So I, and that really changed my life, and a lot of that conference was about marketing.
Okay.
How to properly do marketing.
So let's talk about marketing. If someone is an entertainer,
Yes.
not just a magician,
Right.
an entertainer, what advice would you give yourself 20 years ago?
I think a couple of things. First thing, one of the biggest thing is that you really do need a show. You need
a good show.
You need a good show. I mean that's
your product.
Yeah, that's your product, and you. I think that's the key word. is you have to, if you're doing this as a business, you have to understand that you are in a business.
Yes, you treat it like
most
a
of the
business.
time I am selling.
Okay.
You know, my ratio of selling to actually performing is probably like 5 or 6 to 1, if not more.
5 in the marketing and
5
selling.
in marketing
Yeah.
and selling.
Yeah.
You know, I will, get up in the morning and have a cup of coffee, take my wife to work, and I'll sit down and I'll start making phone calls.
Good for
to
you.
either, cold calling people I've never heard before, or calling up prior clients, trying to get business again.
Yep.
A repeat business.
Yep. What about referrals?
Now that's an interesting point. Now I know we both belong to a group led by Ken Dine,
Right.
and one of his calls, and I was on it. I was in the hot seat and one of the things he said on that call was every show you do, you should get at least one other show
Right.
from that. And I hadn't been doing that, but since then I've been a lot more aggressive with
Okay.
marketing myself at shows.
Right.
And that's again, I don't want to say that I'm not an artist,
Okay.
but I am a business person, and so I'm not shy about marketing myself at shows.
Right.
A lot of magicians, I don't want to, I don't want to, be that type of person.
They want to be the entertainer,
They-
but not get their hands dirty.
Right? Maybe, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. And so, I'm not shy about giving my cards out during my kids show. I do a routine that actually ends with me holding a big business card of mine.
That's wonderful.
And then I give out cards to the kids, and I explain how this is a magic card, kids. You take this card home and put it in your mom and your daddy's hands. And
I love that. And say call.
yeah, say we just saw David Fun, and being the kind, wonderful, and young parents that you are, I'm sure you want the same quality entertainment at my next party. Yeah,
You do that then.
I do that.
It's
yeah.
funny, and
Yeah, it's funny.
I love
And,
it.
Yeah, I mean.
So
and
is it working? You're getting referrals?
I do get quite a few referrals now. Where I am on Long Island, it's sort of I don't want to say an odd market, but if people see me at one party, they want someone like me, but usually someone else. They want something different. But I do get referrals. I from my own perspective, I'm in the upper range of what I charge because I'm worth it, and
you're full time, and you're
I'm
professional,
full-time, I'm professional,
and you're good looking,
Yeah.
and you're smart,
Right.
And what else can we say?
Yeah, exactly.
You're funny.
And I'm funny. At least that's what my wife says. But
How long
maybe.
have you been married to your wife?
35 years, coming up on 36 years.
Wow.
36.
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, I tell you.
I was setting you up for a joke.
Yeah.
The one you told me at lunch.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? That was a great joke.
I've been married for 35 years, and I just realized the other day that if I killed my wife on the wedding night, I would have been out of jail 15 years ago. But
See, when I was sitting with you at lunch,
yeah.
your phone rang like 3-4 times,
Yes,
and these are people looking to book you.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I was just like, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
Did that happen overnight?
Oh no! It's and now in recent years, now I put my ads in like parenting magazines
Right.
for a while. That was really where you wanted to be.
Right.
Even though there were 20 other magicians in there, you wanted to be in there because that's where people
Right.
wanted to hire you, at least for private parties. And now it is much more difficult to
'Cause there's
to
a lot of
find market.
magicians?
Not so much there's magicians, but with the internet,
Oh.
it's a little bit harder to focus in. We've tried Facebook. And
Does that work? Does Facebook work?
Facebook for private parties like that, not so much
Okay.
because it's hard to really get a handle on who your market is to
Right.
target it.
How do you find them?
Yeah, Google is easier. I'm having a lot more success with Google ads.
Google AdWords? or-
Google AdWords,
Okay,
yes.
all right. And how does that work? Because I don't know.
Okay, well, basically, you create an ad.
Okay.
And then you tell Google, this is the demographic that I want.
All right.
You want, let's say, Long Island, where
Right.
I'm from, or the New York area. You want people who make a certain amount of money.
Oh, wow.
You want females, because most home parties are done by the females.
Gotcha.
And a couple of different criteria, and you play with it. That's the thing. I have a media consultant
Okay.
that runs my Google ads, and he monitors them and sees. And Google really gives you a tremendous amount of information in terms of who is going at your ads.
They tell you after you pay or before?
Well, after you pay.
I see.
I
Right.
mean, as your ads get looked at or shown, it shows you who looked at it, not who, but the demographic that looked at your ad.
Okay.
And whether or not they clicked on it, and where they went after they clicked on it.
So if I lived in Long Island, like I
Yes.
used to live in Hicksville,
Right.
if I lived in Long Island and I was a magician, pro or semi-pro,
Yeah.
and you lived on Long Island, but you bought Google AdWords, I did not. If someone types in Long Island magician,
Right.
they're going to find you and not me?
No, they might find you depending. Now, the Google AdWords are paid for.
Right.
And so up at the top, usually along the side,
Yeah.
is where those paid advertisements go.
But do they get a higher ranking than someone like me that doesn't pay for it?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
It really depends. I mean,
I see.
they are first, usually.
They are first, yes.
They are
Okay.
first.
Okay.
But like I know personally, my wife says that she always ignores the paid ones.
She does.
She always.
She wants the organic.
She wants the organic one.
I see. Okay.
And that's harder to get up there. But I think I'm getting from the Google ads. I think I'm higher ranking in my organic one.
Right.
Because I'm getting more clicks to my page.
Right.
So-
Well, the nice thing about this episode is it's going to air here in Connecticut,
Yes.
but we're also going to put it on Facebook, and we're also going to put it on YouTube, and
Right.
YouTube and Google are tied together.
Right, yes.
So when someone looks at your name, they'll
Right,
find
they'll
us
find-
or vice versa,
Exactly,
which is
exactly.
kind of cool.
Yeah, it's all tied together. I actually am a real Luddite, when it comes to a lot of these things.
I think it's our age.
I think I'm on the information cul-de-sac.
You're just going around and around?
You just
But you got to know this stuff, right?
You got it. Well, or you pay for it. I mean, that's the thing, and that's one of the things I have to. I think we were talking before. Is as a private, magician, private entrepreneur.
Right.
You think you have to do everything.
Right.
And you don't, especially in today's age. I did a lot of my own video editing
Okay.
of things, and my internet consultant said, why don't we hire a film editor for? I think he paid $50 or something for a couple of hours, and it saved me the time of doing it. And I have a fairly nice sizzle reel that's
Very
up
nice.
there. And you can do the same thing. I mean, with other aspects, I'm not good at Facebook media in terms of updating my page, putting
I
up
see.
things, and I
Okay.
have a lot of video testimonials
Okay.
of clients that are great. They say, "Oh, we had David, and he was wonderful." And either I don't have the time, or I, just forget about it. I
Right.
don't put these up there, and
Right.
I should. Because
Well, you're busy performing.
yeah, that's right. I'm busy performing. When it was, as I was talking about, we started running the Google ads, and I started getting phone calls from them, but they were like for dates that I already had bookings.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it was. So that's one issue, is we have to work on is getting people to plan out further in advance.
Now, last year, 2019, you had a stellar year.
Yes, I did.
You have goals for this year, 2020.
Yes.
And are you on track?
I am more than on track.
Wow.
I wanted to do 10% more than I did last year. Now, one of the things that I look at in terms of how I'm making money, how I'm booking, is a lot of people look at their booking and say, okay, I have I'm going to make so much money, from these bookings. I look at the bookings themselves. So every week,
What's the difference?
Well, I track how much I book this week.
I see.
Not how much I'm making in the future. So if I book $2,000, $3,000 this week,
right,
I've made $3,000 this week, even though I haven't made it yet.
Right.
But that's how I track myself.
Okay.
And I compare that to last year.
I see.
Or week to week. That's
quarterly maybe.
Quarterly. I look at it more quarterly or
Okay.
year to date type of thing, and I'm I'm doing about 40% ahead of
That's
what
wonderful.
I did last year.
Now, when people book you, do they pay upfront 100%? They put down
I
a deposit?
usually put down a deposit.
Okay.
A small, probably about a quarter of the thing. There are different people that want to get it all in advance.
Right.
There are people that
different philosophies.
Different
Do you ever have anybody cancel on you, and is there a penalty? How do you handle that from a business?
I like to say I'm not out to mess with anybody.
Okay.
And it's a relationship.
It is.
Like, I had one client that had booked me for a show, and about a week and a half, and she had paid a deposit, and about a week and a half before, she said, well, we have to cancel.
Okay.
And she said, can I get the deposit back? And I wrote back, and I said, well, you know what? The reason I have the deposit is I save that time for you.
Yeah. And you can't sell it to somebody else.
But I said, well, if I can sell it, if I can book that time slot in the next week and a half, I'll return your deposit. And I was able to, and I got back in touch with her after the fact. And I said I was able to book, and I sent her a deposit.
What
back.
about moving her to another date and moving that deposit? Do you do that too?
Oh yeah, I mean, if they can do that, more often than not, if it's a private party, it's hard to do that because it's a birthday and they're having it on that day, or they don't have it.
And they're having Barney instead.
Right, or they're having Barney instead. I mean,
I'm kidding.
Well, no, I've had all kinds of different
What's
things.
the worst, craziest thing that's ever happened in show business for you?
Oh, a lot of different things.
Just one crazy thing.
Well, I mean, from a bad business perspective, I was hired for a show, and I drive out there and I walk up with my case, and there's another magician, obviously another magician standing on the stoop, and he turns to me and said, yeah, this woman hired 3 magicians, and this other guy arrived first, and she's having him do the party. She had hired 3 different magicians.
Wow.
At that time, I wasn't taking deposits.
Right.
And so we were the odd men out.
And you didn't get paid.
We didn't get
perform.
paid. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like the worst thing.
Do you have what they call a rider, or do you have a contract?
I don't have a contract per se. I usually send out a letter of confirmation stating that I'll be there, and where I'm doing and what I'm doing. And
do you have requirements like microphone, sound system, or anything like that?
For when I do hypnosis shows.
Oh, you do hypnosis.
I do. I do hypnosis shows, and that is usually in a bigger venue.
Right.
When it's a small venue, I bring everything I need. I bring my own sound system.
Right.
All they really supply is the audience.
Okay.
Nice. But for a hypnosis show where it's in a theater, I say I need chairs and I need a table and and access to a sound system.
Right. Exactly.
Because I usually bring my own microphone that I know. That I hook into their system, and I bring a Bluetooth receiver because I use music during the hypnosis show.
What would you say to someone that says, I don't want to do sales and I don't want to do cold calling, I only want to do social media? Do you think that's a wrong approach, or you think maybe a hybrid?
I think I mean, a lot of people, I know my daughter, when she has hired people, she says, she told me, if someone wants me to call, then I go to the next person.
I'm confused. What does she hire for?
Oh, for repairs and things like that. If she's looking to have a plumber come in.
Oh, I see. Okay. And some
the
plumber calls her?
And or the plumber says, hey, give me a call.
Right.
She goes to the next. She only wants to do it via email.
Oh.
Yeah, she only wants
Now, how old is your daughter?
30-ish.
So you think it's an age difference?
It's an age difference. I
Okay.
think it's definitely an age difference.
Okay, so only communicate through email.
You're right. Yeah, a lot, and I've booked a couple of shows that I've never talked to the person.
Right.
I've only done it either email or texting, things
Right,
like that.
right.
One of the neat things that my consultant has gotten me involved in is a CRM, I guess.
Yeah.
That has hooks into text messaging, so
Okay.
I can text message someone from within the
Right.
application.
Right.
I can even make phone calls from within the application, and it's very cool because it records the phone calls.
Right.
So I have a
Right.
record of that.
Right.
And much more impressive is that I love is I can, if I send out a text or an email, I can track whether or not the person, my client, has clicked on any of my links.
Right.
So
Opened
I'll
it.
know first if they opened it and if they've clicked on my YouTube videos
Right.
or my Google review. So if they have done that, well, they're a little bit more interested in the person that never did that.
Yes, yes. So,
So
you
that's-
know.
yeah, so
And
that's it.
I sat next to a woman one time, and we were flying somewhere, total stranger, and she went to school to be a marketing major. And I said, "Tell me the secret." She says, "There isn't any secret." She says, "It's really common sense. Marketing is not that difficult." And for me, I look at it like dating. Like you see somebody, you meet someone, maybe you ask them out. Maybe the first thing you do is you ask them their name, right? And it's just a process.
So it really is the same. I
Isn't
mean,
it?
The tools are different.
Oh, the tools are
The
different.
tools are different,
Right.
and the same thing could be said for magic.
Okay.
Tricks themselves.
Yeah.
The tricks are tools.
Okay.
They're just a tool. A very good magician said, related it to like a plane. A famous, I guess a famous commander said, we have, how many planes do we have to do this fight or whatever? And his, whoever said, it's planes we have. We need pilots.
Oh. And
Yeah.
how does that relate to magic and show business?
Because the trick is the plane.
Yeah.
But you need a pilot
Right.
to do it and to put it over and make it really
And it's not
work.
easy either.
And it's not easy. I mean, it takes, some people are inherently more theatrical,
Right.
connect with people. That's one thing. Unfortunately, I don't connect with people.
Why do you say that?
Because I'll be honest that it's a thing I struggle with.
Okay.
That
I wouldn't know that.
yeah, well, it's something I've worked on a lot
Right.
over my many years to make the connection, to pay attention to.
Right.
And one of the biggest things with sales is listening.
Yes.
Is to not make it again about me, to make it about what I can do for my client. If it's a birthday party, to make the birthday child feel special.
You're solving an issue.
I'm solving an issue, exactly.
right,
If it's a corporate event, it's so that people aren't bored.
Right. Right.
In my marketing, one of the things I said, I prevent people from walking around with nothing to do.
Right.
At your party.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, I'm going to show you a great card trick,
Exactly.
making 4 aces come out of a deck. Who cares about that? They
Exactly.
don't need that.
That's right.
Right.
That's not what they're looking for.
But see, most magicians, and I've talked to a few people about this, that's where they start because that's where their heart is.
Right.
They love that. They
Yes.
love the mechanism.
Right.
They love the plane.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's it. I mean, there are many magicians that just do it for the card problem. There are what are in magician speak. There are card problems.
What's that mean? I never heard that before.
Okay, taking having 4 aces, putting them in 4 places, and have them end up in one
Oh,
pile.
I see.
That's a card problem. How do you do that?
Oh, I see.
And
it's
there
a
are-
riddle. It's like
It's a riddle,
Yeah.
and there are millions of ways to solve that problem, and
Right.
each one has its benefits and has its negatives.
Right.
And you're working to solve the problem,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where a lot of people. That's where you have a lot of very intelligent people are magicians. A lot of doctors, a lot of lawyers.
Why?
because their minds think in that way.
I see.
They like to solve problems. Magic can be a very intellectual type thing.
Right. Especially mentalism.
Mentalism, well, not so much mentalism.
Really?
It's because mentalism depends upon connection
Right.
with people.
Right.
And if you're not very good at connecting with people, then your mentalism might not be the best thing. Something like a card trick. That's mental. To do magic, you can do magic alone. You can practice it alone.
Oh, yes.
You can't do mentalism alone.
No, you can't.
You need someone else. You need
Right.
someone's.
You need to be able to have that
Right.
interchange.
Right. I mean,
But-
I like to say to my clients, there's a lot of interaction because it's really no fun if I read my own mind. There's really not much entertainment value there. That's I have to read other people.
So, do you read people when you're calling them and marketing them and you're connecting with them on the phone?
Yeah,
you
try to do that. You try to see what their a classic technique is. Some people are talking very fast and other people talk very
So
slow.
do you mirror them?
And I try to mirror them.
Okay. A good
try to
NLP
make-
trick.
Excuse me?
NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Right, a little bit of that goes
Sales
into
101 a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's influencing. And, our good friend Ken Dine would say, doing a trick and influencing someone by taking them on a journey with a card trick is no different than taking them on a journey from, hey, book me. It's the same thing,
yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not that different.
Right, yeah.
You know where you want to take them.
Yeah. And it all comes back to really connection, to
Right.
working with people.
What about LinkedIn? Are you using it?
I want to get more into that
Me too.
because that's more of a business, and I do want to expand my business presence.
Right.
So,
right. Exactly. So what's the next step for you? Are you going to outsource this marketing, or are you going to do it
Well, I've
yourself?
already outsourced some of it. I
Okay,
have
that's
a
good.
consultant.
Good.
I want to get a virtual assistant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
So if someone's
and-
watching, they should call you.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, right. I'd like to get a virtual assistant or multiple, depending.
That's great.
To offload some of the things that I'm not as good at, or
Right.
that I could be spending my time more productively elsewhere.
It frees you up.
Exactly.
And the other thing too is, and I realize this, you're only getting paid when you perform.
Yes.
I'm only getting paid when I speak.
Right.
So, it's limited. It's not like, remember, I guess
Right.
it was Mark Wilson that he took his magic show. You remember these in the 70s? You
Yeah.
remember in the 80s? He actually farmed it out to other magicians and
Oh.
had them do his show
Oh,
at
yeah.
different carnivals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
brilliant marketing.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
he's
mean,
making
that's-
money while he's...
Yeah, well, I think a guy in Manhattan, Silly Billy,
yeah.
David Kay, had a very distinctive character.
Okay.
And he hired, I think he liked to hire high school teachers who didn't really want to do magic but wanted some extra money. And he would literally train them in his show, in his character. He'd give them other characters. It would be,
Wow.
Bobby Bob or
Right.
whatever.
Sure.
But they were doing his show.
Interesting.
Even my daughter does magic, not as much. She does basically my show because I trained her,
Wow.
and but she makes it her own because
Right.
obviously
Her
it's different.
personality.
Yeah,
When
she's
you walk out on
and
stage,
in all
it's you.
honesty, she connects with the kids better than I do. Yeah, but yeah, so there's a possibility, but
So give your contact information because we got a minute left.
okay, all right. You can contact me at davidfun.com with 2 N's. That's my family website. You can find me at getdavidlawrence.com. Getdavidlawrence.com. For school shows, I have educationalmagic.com, which is my school and camp shows.
Nice.
And that's I'm somewhere on Facebook.
Thank you so much, David Lawrence. Well, we
you.
hope we gave you something to think about here on Mindful Conversations. I appreciate your time. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, everyone.